Yeah! Come on! New South Wales win the Origin Series! Woohoo! Up the boys! Come on! Welcome back to the YouTube channel. I am Nick from Australia. Welcome to the State of Origin Game 2 review of the 2021 State of Origin series, where New South Wales have wrapped up the series tonight with a win over Queensland up there at Suncorp Stadium, 26 points to nil. A fantastic performance from the New South Wales side. Very pleased with the result. We have now won this series. Hopefully we can go down to Stadium Australia and for Game 3 and win it 3-0. But if you guys are new to this channel, make sure you guys subscribe to the channel. I guarantee you won't be disappointed. Like this video and comment your thoughts on tonight's game in the comment section below. You bloody beauty. New South Wales, man, it's so good to win the series. Last year was a huge disappointment. This year, they win the series, and I am in a very, very good mood. But let's get into the review. Look, if you're a Queenslander, you know, better luck next year, but New South Wales far too good. And it all started, all right, let's go through the game. So it all started off, opening 10 minutes. I thought Queensland were decent in the opening 10 minutes. They were throwing the ball around. They were taking a lot of risk. When, you know, New South Wales were also looking quite good there. They made 2 or 3 line breaks. The opening 10 minutes, they looked very dangerous, but there was no points there. And then in the 11th minute, there was a one-on-one strip from Latrell Mitchell on Kyle Feldt, which led to a try, the first try of the game in the 11th minute to Josh Addo-Carr. It was a nice try. Nathan Cleary went to Tedesco. Turbo was the, the decoy. It was like a face ball from Tedesco to Addo-Carr. Addo-Carr scores the first try of the game. Cleary converts the goal. New South Wales 6-0 after 11 minutes. And then in the 25th minute, Queensland were on the attack. They were looking like they could hit back. And then Valentine Holmes throws an intercept pass, and Latrell Mitchell catches the ball, and he is absolutely gone. Latrell Mitchell runs about 90 metres, scores a long-range intercept try, scores. Nathan Cleary converts it. New South Wales 12-0 after 25 minutes. And I thought, okay, if Queensland are to stay in this game, they need to be next to score. And unfortunately for Queensland, that did not happen. A beautiful try in the 32nd minute from New South Wales. Tedesco ran from the left side of the field over to the right side. Got the pass on there to Cameron Murray. He gave it to Tom Trbojevic. He gave it to Addo-Carr. Addo-Carr was down the sideline. Back on the inside to Tommy Turbo. Turbo scores. Cleary converts. Half-time, New South Wales 18-0. And I'm thinking to myself, are Queensland any chance of a comeback? We've seen in the past where Queensland have made these comebacks from nowhere. And I did have a little bit of a concern about maybe Queensland will make a comeback, but New South Wales, with all the striking that side with Turbo, Latrell, Tedesco, I was pretty confident that New South Wales were going to get the job done. And then in the second half, in the 49th minute, Queensland went from bad to worse. Grub kick from Nathan Cleary. Tarek Sims got taken out by Cherry Evans. A penalty to New South Wales. Cleary goes for goal. New South Wales go out to a 20 points to nil lead after 49 minutes. And then the try-saving tackle there, Tom Trbojevic try-saving tackle on Xavier Coates in the 53rd minute was just remarkable. I thought that was outstanding from Turbo Tom. And then in the 61st minute, a no try to Dane Gagai, which I thought was very close to being a try, but his elbow was on the dead ball line, so no try to Dane Gagai there. And then pretty much the try that just ices the game, even though I reckon the game was over at that stage of the game. There was a, James Tedesco gave it on to Addo-Carr. He stepped back on the inside. He scores, and New South Wales convert the goal with Nathan Cleary. 26-0 New South Wales. And then Kyle Feldt with a no try. Brian To'o ripped it out. Brian To'o's try-saving tackle there was just simply remarkable. Incredible there from Brian To'o. But full-time, New South Wales 26, Queensland 0. The best part about this game for New South Wales was keeping Queensland to 0 up there at Suncorp Stadium in front of a full house. So well done to New South Wales. Defensively, they were very good. The mentality going up to Suncorp Stadium and winning back-to-back games in Queensland and to win the Origin Series is just simply remarkable. Now, let's talk about the players from both sides. We're going to go through each team, and I'm going to give them a rating of 1 to 10, with 10 being like the best on field, and number 1 being absolutely awful. Shouldn't have even been there. So we'll start with the winning side, New South Wales. James Tedesco. Tedesco is going to get a 9 out of 10 from mine. I thought he was absolutely outstanding. He might get man of the match, but what a performance he had. Tedesco, 9 out of 10 for mine. Brian Toto, I'll give Brian Toto a 6 out of 10. I don't think he was anything amazing, but did a pretty good job. So Brian Toto, a 6 out of 10. Latrell Mitchell, I have to give Latrell Mitchell a solid 9 out of 10 as well. I thought he was outstanding, Latrell Mitchell. He gets a 9 out of 10 for me. Tom Trbojevic, a solid 8.5 out of 10. Don't think he was as great as he was in Game 1, but he still had a great game. So Turbo gets an 8.5 out of 10. Addo Carr, I'll give him a 7 out of 10. I thought he played really well. Jerome Luai, I'll give Luai a 6. I don't think he did anything amazing, but he had a fairly strong game. Nathan Cleary, I'll give Cleary probably a 6 as well. You know, I don't think Nathan Cleary was at his absolute best like he was in Game 1 like Turbo, but it was still good Cleary. I'll give Cleary a 6 out of 10. Daniel Saifiti, I'll give Saifiti a solid 7 out of 10. Damien Cook, I'll give Damien Cook a 5 out of 10. I still think he was average. Nothing fantastic from Damien Cook. Didn't really run the ball a whole lot, but he did a decent job, so I'll give him a 5 out of 10. Junior Paulo, I'll give Junior Paulo a solid 5.5 out of 10. Thought he did a pretty good job out there, Paulo. Cameron Murray, I'll give Cameron Murray a 6.5 out of 10. Thought he was solid as well. Tarek Sims, I'll give Tarek Sims a 6 out of 10. I thought he did a good job. Isaiah Yeo, I'm going to give Isaiah Yeo a 7 out of 10. His hard work goes unnoticed. I thought he played really well, Isaiah Yeo, so I'll give him a 7 out of 10. Also, we'll go to the bench now for New South Wales. Jack Whiten, he only played about 10 minutes, so I'll give Jack Whiten a 4 out of 10. Angus Crichton, I thought he was great off the bench, so I'll give Angus Crichton a 7 out of 10. Payne Haas, a 7.5 out of 10. I thought he was unbelievable off the bench, Payne Haas. He had a great game. And Liam Martin, thought he did a good job, so I'll give him a 5.5 out of 10 for New South Wales. And now let's go into the Queensland side now. This is not going to be rated well for Queensland because they were terrible. You know, scoring no points in a must-win game to try and get to a decider just wasn't good enough. Queensland, Valentine Holmes at fullback. Awful. Absolutely awful. Val Holmes is going to get a 3 out of 10. He was shocking. Xavier Coates, one of the only players who really had a fair go for Queensland. I'll give Xavier Coates a 6 out of 10. He had a fair go. Kurt Capewell wasn't as bad as he was in Game 1, but, you know, tried really hard. I'll give Kurt Capewell a 5.5 out of 10. Dane Gagai, I barely even saw him out there tonight, Dane Gagai. I'll give him a 3.5 out of 10. Kyle Felt probably had one of the worst games I've ever seen him play in my life. So Kyle Felt, he'll get a 2 out of 10 for mine. Cameron Munster, he couldn't really get into the game as well. So I'll give Cameron Munster a 3.5 out of 10. Daly Cherry Evans, he was just as bad as Valentine Holmes. I know when your fullback doesn't get going, you know, the halves struggle, but DC had chances out there tonight where he could have done more with the ball, in my opinion. So DCE will get a 3 out of 10 as well, along with Valentine Holmes. The front row, Christian Welsh. He tried hard in periods, so I'll give Christian Welsh. I'll give him a 4.5 out of 10. Actually, no, I'll give him a 5 out of 10 for effort. Andrew McCulloch, I'll give him a 4 out of 10. Didn't really show me much out there at number 9. Josh Papali, or Papali, however you want to put it. I'll give Josh Papali a solid 4 out of 10. Nothing great for him. Jairo, terrible in the back row. I'll give Jairo a 3.5 out of 10 as well. Felice Kafusi, I'll give him a 3.5 out of 10 as well. He was terrible. Tino, I thought he was average as well. I'll give Tino a 4 out of 10. And now the bench, Ben Hunt. I'm going to give Ben Hunt a 6 out of 10. I thought he played really well, Ben Hunt. Thought he tried really hard out there for Queensland. Moe Fotuaika, another one of the only shining lights for Queensland. I'll give Moe Fotuaika a 5 out of 10. Francis Molo, I'll give Molo a 4.5 out of 10. Nothing great. And David Fifita, I'll give David Fifita a 3.5 out of 10. Nothing fantastic. Look, Queensland, they just weren't good enough, you know. New South Wales, they dominated them through the middle and in the outside backs. And New South Wales just proved that they are the better team. And Queensland, they have a lot to work on. They need to go back to the drawing board and try and figure out how to avoid a clean sweep. If New South Wales beat Queensland 3-0 in the Origin Series this year, Queensland are going to be very embarrassed. And I've got to say, the coaching of Paul Green is already under pressure. It's his second Origin game, and he's already under the pump. So a lot to work on there for Queensland. Now, look, top 3 players on ground tonight. Very hard to give top 3 on ground because there was a lot of great players out there for New South Wales. But I've got my list right here, and I'm going to go my top 3 players on ground tonight from number 3 to number 1. Number 3, I'm going to go with Tom Trbojevic. Number 2, I'm going to go with James Tedesco. And number 1, my man of the match, I'm going to give it to Latrell Mitchell. I thought he was best on ground tonight, Latrell Mitchell. Thought he had a really strong game. And, you know, if any of the 3 get man of the match, I've got no issue with it. But I reckon Latrell Mitchell deserves to be man of the match in tonight's game. But, guys, that's it for the State of Origin Game 2 review of the 2021 State of Origin Series. New South Wales have sealed the series. If you guys enjoyed the video, make sure you guys go ahead and like, comment, and subscribe to the channel, guys. Thanks for watching, and I will see you guys in the next one. Up the Blues!